People use the phrase, a bed of roses, to mean an easy life. My life was not a bed of roses, it was a bed of thorns. My name is Ariella. I arrived in this city 5 years ago with 1 suitcase and $0. I didn't speak the language well. I didn't have any friends. I got a job at the Royal Garden. It was the most expensive flower shop in the city. Wealthy people bought huge bouquets of red roses for $500. My job was to sweep the floor. The owner, Mr. Black, was a strict man. He only liked perfection. "Ariella," he would shout, "look at this rose. It has a brown spot on one petal. Throw it away." "But Mr. Black," I would whisper, "it is still alive. It still smells sweet." "Trash!" he would yell. "My customers pay for perfection. If a flower is not perfect, it is garbage." Every day, I watched him throw away dozens of beautiful flowers just because they were slightly open, or had a bent stem, or were too small. It broke my heart. I knew what it felt like to be thrown away because you weren't perfect. One rainy Tuesday, Mr. Black threw away a whole bucket of orchids. They were rare, blue orchids. He said they looked tired. I waited until he went to his office. I went to the dumpster behind the shop. I climbed inside. I rescued the orchids. I wrapped them in wet paper towels and hid them in my bag. That was how it started. Every day, I rescued the trash: roses with bent necks, lilies with missing leaves, tulips that opened too wide. I took them to my tiny, dark apartment. I didn't have furniture. I slept on a mattress on the floor. But my windowsill was full of glass jars. I talked to the flowers. "Drink," I told the roses. "Stand up," I told the tulips. "You are beautiful," I told the orchids. And a miracle happened. They didn't die. They healed. My apartment turned into a secret jungle. It smelled like paradise. But one day, Mr. Black found a petals on the floor of the break room. He followed the trail to my bag. He opened it. Inside were 12 dead roses I had saved from the bin that morning. He turned red. "Stealing?" he hissed. "You are stealing my garbage?" "I am saving them," I said, shaking. "You are fired," Mr. Black said. "Get out and take your trash with you." I stood on the street in the rain. I had no job. I had no money. I only had a bag of broken roses. I walked home in the rain. My shoes were soaked. My heart was heavy. But when I opened the door to my tiny apartment, the smell hit me. It wasn't the smell of a damp, cheap room. It was the smell of a garden after a storm. It was the smell of life. I looked at the garbage in my bag. The roses were crushed. The stems were snapped. "They are broken," Mr. Black's voice said in my head. "No," I whispered. "They are just different." I sat on the floor. I didn't have expensive vases, so I used jam jars, old mugs, and tin cans. I took the roses with the bent necks. I cut the stems short, right above the break. Now, instead of drooping, they looked strong and compact. I placed them in a small teacup. I took the lilies with the brown edges. I carefully peeled away the damaged parts to reveal the fresh, white petals underneath. They were smaller now, but they were pure. I worked all night. I didn't sleep. By morning, my floor was covered in 50 small, unique arrangements. They were wild, they were messy, they were beautiful. I didn't have a shop. I didn't have a license. So I went to the subway station. I put a cardboard box on the ground. I arranged my jars. I wrote a sign with a black marker. "Second chance flowers. Pay what you can." People rushed past. They looked at their phones. They looked at their watches. Nobody looked down. Garbage, I thought, feeling the tears prick my eyes. Mr. Black was right. But then a pair of worn-out sneakers stopped in front of my box. I looked up. It was a young woman. She looked exhausted. Her eyes were red, like she had been crying all night. She pointed to a small jar. Inside was a single sunflower with a crooked stem, leaning against a piece of fern I had found in the sidewalk cracks. "It looks tired," the woman whispered. "It is fighting," I said softly. "It is a survivor, like us." The woman looked at me. She looked at the flower. A small smile touched her lips. "A survivor," she repeated. She reached into her pocket. She pulled out a $10 bill. "It's too much," I said. "It's pay what you can." "It's worth it," she said. She took the jar and walked away, holding it like it was a diamond. That day, I sold everything. I made $80. It wasn't a fortune, but it was enough for food and rent. Every night, I became a flower ninja. I went to the dumpsters behind the big floral shops, not Mr. Black's. I was too scared. I rescued the rejects. I found beauty in the things the city threw away. My spot at the subway station became famous. People started waiting for me. They didn't want the perfect, plastic-looking roses from the expensive shops. They wanted the second-chance flowers. They wanted the flowers that had a story. 6 months passed. I was happy. I was tired, but I was free. Then, one sunny afternoon, a long black limousine pulled up to the curb near my cardboard box. The back window rolled down. I froze. Was it Mr. Black? Was he going to call the police? A woman looked out. She had silver hair, sharp glasses, and wore a suit that cost more than my entire life. She was looking at my flowers with intense interest. "You," she called out. Her voice was sharp. "Bring that one here." She pointed to a chaotic mix of orange marigolds and purple thistles I had arranged in an old soup can. I walked to the car, my hands shaking. "Who taught you to mix these textures?" she asked. "The rough thistle with the soft petals?" "Nobody, ma'am," I said. "The flowers told me. They were lonely." The woman took off her glasses. She looked at me. "I am organizing the mayor's charity ball next week," she said. "The theme is resilience. Rising from the ashes." She looked at the soup can. "I have interviewed 10 top florists. They all showed me perfect, boring white roses. I hate them." She handed me a business card. It was gold. "I need 200 centerpieces," she said. "I want them to look exactly like this. Wild, broken, beautiful. Can you do it?" I looked at the card. I looked at my cardboard box. I don't have enough flowers," I stammered. "I only use rescued ones." "Then we will buy them," she said, "and we will break them if we have to. Be at the city hall tomorrow at 8 a.m. The limousine drove away. I stood there on the sidewalk. I looked at the card. The name on it was the mayor's wife. But there was a problem. To make 200 centerpieces, I needed thousands of flowers. And the only place in the city that had that many flowers was Mr. Black's supplier. The next morning at 4 a.m., I walked into the city flower market. It was a chaotic warehouse filled with the smell of wet earth and coffee. Trucks were unloading thousands of boxes. I had the mayor's credit card in my pocket, but I felt like an imposter. I was wearing my old sneakers and a sweater with a hole in the elbow. I saw him immediately. Mr. Black. He was standing near the front of the line, screaming at a delivery driver. "Refused!" Mr. Black yelled, his face purple. "Look at these peonies. The wind has battered them. The petals are loose. I ordered perfection, not salad." The driver looked desperate. "But Mr. Black, it was a storm. The whole shipment is like this. I can't sell these to anyone else. They are seconds." "Then burn them," Mr. Black spat. "I don't care. Get them out of my sight." Mr. Black turned around and saw me standing there. He froze. Then, a cruel smile spread across his face. "Well, well," he sneered. "The rat returns to the sewer. Here for my scraps, Ariella?" I felt small. I wanted to run, but I touched the gold card in my pocket. I remembered the mayor's wife, resilience. I walked past Mr. Black. I walked up to the driver who was about to load the ruined peonies back onto the truck. "Excuse me," I said. "How much for the whole truck?" Mr. Black laughed. It was a loud, barking sound. "She has $5, driver. Don't waste your time." "I have a budget," I said calmly. "And I have a vision." The driver looked at me, then at the angry Mr. Black. "Miss, if you take them all right now, $500. It's a loss for me, but better than the dumpster." "Deal," I said. Mr. Black's jaw dropped. "You are buying a truckload of wind-damaged garbage? You are insane." "They aren't garbage," I said, looking him in the eye. "They are survivors. The storm made them softer. I bought the truckload. Then I bought the crooked tulips from another vendor. I bought the branches that had fallen from the oak trees outside. Mr. Black bought his perfect, stiff, plastic-looking roses. He walked past me as I was loading my trash. "You will embarrass yourself," he hissed. "I am doing the flowers for the governor's table next month. You will be back on the street by noon." I didn't answer. I just got in the truck. For the next 24 hours, I didn't sleep. I was in the basement of City Hall. But I wasn't alone. I had called the woman from the subway, the one who bought the sunflower. Her name was Sarah. She brought 2 friends. They were out of work, tired, and looking for a purpose. "We are the team," I told them. "We are going to show this city what beautiful really means." We worked like a machine. We stripped the brown leaves. We wove the fallen branches into wild, dramatic nests. We placed the wind-damaged peonies in the center. Because they were open and loose, they looked like clouds. They looked romantic. They looked real. We didn't use crystal vases. We used recycled glass bottles of different shapes and sizes that the mayor's wife had collected. By 6 p.m., the ballroom was ready. It didn't look like a stiff, formal event. It looked like a wild garden had grown up through the floorboards. It was messy, lush, and breathtaking. I stood in the corner, wearing a simple black dress the mayor's wife had lent me. I was hiding in the shadows, as usual. The doors opened. The guests walked in. These were the richest people in the city. They were used to perfection. They were used to Mr. Black's stiff roses. They stopped. "Oh my God," a woman whispered. "Look at the colors." "It feels alive," a man said. They walked around the tables, touching the soft, open petals of the peonies. They didn't see wind damage. They saw texture. They saw life. Mr. Black walked in. He was a guest of one of his clients. He was wearing a tuxedo. He looked ready to laugh at my failure. He walked up to the main table. He looked at the centerpiece, a massive cascading arrangement of crooked tulips and ruined peonies spilling out of an antique urn. He reached out and touched a petal. His face went pale. He knew flowers. He knew that to get this effect with perfect flowers would cost thousands. But I had done it with the things he threw away. The mayor walked onto the stage. He tapped the microphone. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "tonight's theme is resilience. And I have been told that the artist behind this room is someone who knows a lot about that." The spotlight swung around the room. It was searching. Please don't pick me, I thought. Please. The light found me. "Ariella," the mayor said. "Please, come up here." My legs felt heavy. I walked through the crowd. People were clapping. I stood on the stage. The lights were blinding. "Tell us," the mayor asked. "What is your secret? These flowers, they are unlike anything we have seen." I looked at the crowd. I saw Sarah, my helper, smiling from the back. I saw Mr. Black looking small and defeated near the buffet. I took the microphone. My hand was shaking, but my voice was steady. "My secret," I said, "is that I don't look for perfection. Perfection is boring. Perfection is dead." I looked at the beautiful, ruined room. "I look for the struggle," I said, "because the flower that has to fight the wind to bloom, that is the one that smells the sweetest." The room was silent for a second. Then it erupted. "My name is Ariella. That was 5 years ago. Today I own the Wild Garden. It is right across the street from Mr. Black's shop. Black went out of business last year. He couldn't change. He kept trying to sell perfection in a world that wanted truth. I hired him yesterday. He is old now. He is tired. He needed a job. He sweeps the floor. Sometimes I see him pick up a fallen petal. He doesn't throw it away anymore. He puts it in a small bowl of water on the counter. It still has color," he told me this morning, looking at the floor. "Yes, Mr. Black," I smiled. "It does. My life hasn't always been a bed of roses. It has been a bed of thorns and storms and broken stems, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Because without the thorns, you never learn how to handle the rose." If this story about resilience, second chances, and finding beauty in imperfection inspired you, please give this video a like. Do you think perfection is overrated? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. For more emotional English stories about success and growth, please be sure to follow our channel.